just quickly introduce you all and welcome you all to the podcast. So yeah, thanks for tuning in everyone for another episode of the Gridmaster podcast. This is the Monaco GP episode. Mixed emotions about Monaco. We'll obviously get to that. Some like it, some do not. As a Stroll fan, I loved it for the overtake, but we'll get to that. On my right is Mr. Ankush Ahuja, very aptly repping the 24 hours of Le Mans merch, which is obviously Le Mans coming up in 2 weeks' time. Good choice. Ankush Rai is a very avid F1 traveler, one of the best I know. Hey, on that note, are you planning to go to Le Mans this year?
Not this year. Not this year.
Sound
I've
out
been
of
wanting to. Yeah, but definitely, it's definitely on the cards in the near future, but definitely not this year.
I very aptly come to Ananya, who,
What?
as, as she proclaims, is a ex Ferrari fan for all the reasons,
Yeah.
for the reasons right or wrong. But Ananya, obviously the founder of Hairpin Pro, one of India's motorsports, a leading motorsport agency. Ananya, did Monaco yesterday convince you to become a Ferrari fan again?
Are you insane? No way.
Me
Did you
too.
see? No, it doesn't matter. But did you see Hamilton and his engineer Ricardo Adami have this therapy session in the
Yeah,
middle of it?
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Sid, just reminding you that we took this team to almost two world championships.
almost.
With the same
I think
engineer. With
four.
the same engineer.
With the
Actually,
same engineer.
actually four. Two drivers, two constructors. We had a shot with both of
I
them,
mean, we
both the
never
years.
really had a shot at the constructors, but drivers, yes, we came close.
Yeah, I mean before Hockenheim 2018, we were leading both, but
Nothing
Hockenheim.
happened.
I love when I mention
That does not
Hockenheim.
exist.
When from Hockenheim 2019, we come to Mr. Omkar, who might have had his Hockenheim 2018 yesterday, who given the Max Verstappen's performance.
massive crash. But I'm a little proud of the entertainment that he provided at the very end of the race. Making he had nothing to lose. Even if he pitted, he would be P4. Even if he did not take a penalty, he would be P4. So he had the game. He had the ball in his court, and he likely played it very well. So yeah, some a little entertainment that was provided. That was Max Verstappen's side. So I'm happy.
So then that's a very obvious question which I need to ask. Did the two pit stop rule make it better or make it more shite?
I think it made it
It-
more shite.
More shot.
Exactly. I mean, James Ross said it very clearly. See, we did not want to go racing like that. This is not even racing. We are competing at the pinnacle of motorsport, and you're trying to slow everyone down.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
trying to go slowest. Rather, you
yeah,
should be going fastest. So,
yeah.
of course, your two-step strategy where you're doing some teamwork, making that taking that gap so that your teammate gets to pit. All of that. Come on, all of that business is not racing, and Monaco is not giving any entertainment or racing.
True.
I
I
mean,
see.
it was legitimate but unsporting as well. And at the same time, I mean, Omi, the thing was you had the Williams going in, one behind the other. Had that structure not been there, then probably James would have had to adopt a very different strategy.
Right.
The streets are as narrow as they were for years and years on end, so there
Crazy.
is no getting around it. One day we might have guys crashing into each other, just because there is traffic during qualifying. So
We almost did. We
yeah,
almost did.
yeah.
Next year we are going to have 22 cars. Come on. How are we going to accommodate all of that?
Oh, I forgot 22 cars. And
Yeah.
obviously one
I
Checo
mean,
Perez himself.
we did have 24 cars on the grid at some point, so it's not impossible. But at the same time, the cars were smaller back then.
And let me
But
remind you, those 24 at one point of time included Grosjean and Maldonado.
Ha.
yeah,
Just to remind you.
a very uncomfortable yes. But here's the thing. I think they tried something different, and sure, it backfired in hindsight. But I think something else that they could potentially put in, and they're not. I mean, F1 is not shy of manufacturing things, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we've seen
yeah,
this before.
yeah.
So manufacturing yet another thing, like adding in maybe designated pit stop windows. Now that could have changed the game entirely.
Hmm.
I think there's some series that does it. It's one of the Japanese series, either the Super GT or the Super Formula. They have like designated pit windows where you kind of jump in, and it more or less gets the entire grid on the same level.
Hmm.
Right.
Which I think
Interesting.
if you had mandatory two pit stops, then you should have a mandatory when do you take that pit
Window
stop as
as
well.
well.
It was intended to switch things up, which, if you jump into the pit lane, the argument is that it will switch things up. And plus,
Hmm.
you could have never discounted a red flag or a yellow flag
Hmm,
in
hmm,
Monaco or a
hmm,
safety car.
hmm.
This time, I'm so surprised that none
Yeah,
of that happened.
yeah, exactly. The Max
They
guys
were
are
too well
just
behaved.
yeah.
Because the Formula 2 drivers had
They saw.
twice in turn one.
They forgot there's a bowling alley. I'm sure there was
That
a
was a
bowling alley somewhere in
that was
Yeah.
a
Monaco. They
that was
decided
an
to.
unranked F1 race जो होता है ना online sim racing में.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Lobby,
Unranked, yeah.
lobby.
Lobbies, open lobbies.
Lobbies. That's the word I was trying to.
Or Kurla in an average day, but let's not go there.
I like how we are putting Monaco towards an open lobby race on esports.
Yeah.
We want that kind of carnage in
that's
the races now to make it entertaining.
that's probably
Just
what
watch Formula 2.
that's
Yeah,
probably the only thing that can save Monaco carnage. That's it.
true.
And the funny thing is that it is Formula One that is paying Monaco to be at the Monaco
Yes,
Grand Prix rather than
yes, not the other way around.
that is something I still can't get my head around. No matter how good, no matter how prestigious a race is with all its history and everything, and of course it is the toughest race on the calendar by a country mile. Uh, whatever efforts Formula One is or Liberty for that or FOM actually for that matter is trying to put in to make racing more exciting, it's not really working. With it's going in no direction as of now. It's just
Hmm.
it's like in a stalemate.
Think those there are certain races that just need to be on the calendar because they appeal to the brand of the sport.
Yeah.
It's always been a conglomerate of rich men that run 20 cars. It
So
just adds to the preposterity, or I don't know if that's a word. Whatever. Yeah. The brand of it,
The
right? Like the
Magnum
preposterousness
Opus,
of it.
oomph
Magnum
of
Opus,
it.
Opus.
Oomph. Two things actually, which I want to discuss and bring you on about it is one is what the heck was that Lance Stroll overtake? That was absolutely pinpoint perfect. Exactly what George failed in doing and what Kimi failed in doing. That guy did it around the outside of the Nouvelle chicane. How?
He did it. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
He
see
think he
it.
did.
just I think he just went for it.
Miracles
He's
happen.
like he's like checkered flag ही लेना है अभी मुझे. देखते हैं ना करके कुछ तो करके
But
दिखते
he
हैं. And it works
is.
for him.
Yeah,
And the timing tower went all drug addict in the last lap. I was like, क्या हो गया? मेरा
the
team अभी
checkered
सही
flag.
चल
Yeah.
रहा था.
Transponder issues. I think it's
I was
because
like,
of the number of laps, so number of people that had gotten lapped.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
And I
that
was
was
like,
Kimi
unreal
shit.
was
because
lapped thrice.
And I
and
was
that's
Unbelievable.
like,
all because of that
shh.
backing up the field.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, how stupid that sounds. Yeah.
I was like, maybe
Hamilton was 45 seconds behind, man.
51
Can you
by the
actually
end of the
can you
checkered
actually
flag.
ask
Yeah,
like
exactly.
why are you guys
Seriously.
so quiet? Why
Yeah.
are you all not talking to me?
Are you upset with me?
Yeah, that was
What was that pole lap from Lando Norris?
Crazy, huh?
yeah.
That
And
out of nowhere.
I'm still surprised that lap had one yellow sector and two green.
Yes,
Green.
exactly.
No
How is
purple.
it? Honestly, how is that mathematically possible? I've been wanting to ask this to my maths teacher for a very long time.
But
Honestly,
Ananya,
that
were those yellow and two red greens because the timings were awry again? Because sometimes if you see, they shows a green sector and then retrospectively it goes purple, like a second
Because
or two
someone
different.
else did a
because
someone
someone
else did a year.
has
But
done a purple.
Norris
Acha.
का lap was the last. चार के बाद उसका lap
Correct.
था. And चार
Yeah,
के
that's
Correct.
true.
two
But
purples if
that
I'm not
just
wrong.
means, so that technically means that the pole lap, the technical best lap around Monaco this
Could
year,
be
could have
4 times
actually been
faster.
faster. Yeah,
Yes,
could have been
yes.
faster than what it currently was. So
But I'm still trying to think, how is that mathematically possible? Like
it was only,
how
it
much
is
was Charles
mathematically
spot?
possible.
How?
Yeah, because his first sector was a yellow, which basically meant that he went the quickest in that first sector, and that delta was big enough for him to even do two personal bests and still win pole
No, his last
from there.
sector was a yellow, which I think yellow means not a personal best. Green means the
Oh yeah,
Correct.
personal best. Purple means the best of the entire
Best of
section.
overall best. Yeah.
How much is Charles grew up in one of the sections which he not do a purple sector, to leave a lot of time on the table.
I have
Damn.
no idea.
Because I was so ecstatic, I'm like Ferrari pole again. Hopefully Ferrari win again. And so I was rejoicing for a good 15 and a half seconds. And I was like, मेरा great mass last podcast का prediction भी right है कि Leclerc on pole and Leclerc win. Until that Pando Forest, but all due respect, I did phenomenal that day. That Pando
And
Forest comes
Ananya
in
got it right.
and hammers in the 109,959.
But listen, my rationale for Lando being on pole is only because I wanted Max to win. So if Lando wins, great.
No,
But in Monaco,
yeah,
that ideology, yeah,
last week she said that Lando has to bounce back. So she was rooting for Lando last week when we did ask.
I used to
So
say
Right.
all of this, but then I make a shit team on Gridmaster, man. That's what happens to me all.
yeah. But only person whose curse his luck big time left, right, and center is Fernando Alonso.
Oh God.
14-0 to my guy Stroll still.
but kudos to him for ending up in that runoff area and ensuring that there's only like a 10 or 15-second VSC. I think 10 second. Oh no, sorry, not even a VSC. It was a
Not
yellow
even
flag.
ways.
It
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
it was just
Yeah,
yellow
Not
flag.
even a
yeah,
He
yellow.
just
Yeah,
parked
that
it
was
very well.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gasly
I
too.
mean,
Gasly was willing to take that penalty or whatever that
yeah,
rap on
yeah.
the wrist,
yeah,
slap on the wrist, not rap on the wrist, and then end up and you're still driving.
yeah.
This, with that front left
Three
totally gone.
wheels. Yeah.
I can't remember the rule that year if he was supposed to stop because he basically drove right into the pit lane right till that point.
Hmm.
Both of them, Coulthard without that rear wing and this guy without his two
The
front
front
wheels.
wheel. Front wheel. He did a three-wheeler.
Yeah, three wheel.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
three
three wheeled
wheels.
Yeah,
like Gasly did.
तभी
Yeah.
तो वो गाड़ी चला वरना चलता ही नहीं.
I think it was aquaplaning. There was so much water in the thing.
The floor is sliding. अरे.
Floor is sliding.
Yeah, aquaplane. Because if the two wheels are not there, the front would be so heavy, it would obviously make the floor bottom out. And it would be like, woo, Aqua Magica.
But yeah, Cola Pinto, I mean, Alpine is anyways not the quickest car around the grid. So, and again, like I said, it's only his second race. Yeah, second race.
Second race.
So,
Two of
yeah.
five.
205, 205. Fun.
But interestingly, this was not the only time when we actually had the this was not the only race where we actually had the Indian national anthem play because we had a legendary driver win. He
Mahavir
actually yeah,
Raghunathan.
he finished P2 in race one
Ah,
GT3 AF
yes.
Yeah,
Corsa,
yeah.
and then he won the second race. Yeah. So,
That
and he
is
Crazy.
actually tweeted about it, and he said,
that
yeah, I mean, I'm
that
back.
The
that
goat
pizza
is
is
back.
fucking
That's what he
Goat
working.
is back.
tweeted.
That's the tweet.
That pizza is fucking working, huh? Whatever he has for breakfast is fucking working. But I mean, huge thanks to Kush and obviously to Mavi Raghunathan for having us all give us all the pleasure of hearing the national anthem up top on the top step of the podium.
Uh,
Oscar Piastri, what has happened to him?
I
I
think he
chill,
was.
man.
I think he was on a back
one off.
foot this entire weekend.
One off.
वो it's two off by the way दो हो चुका है बोला और ये और दोनों में नॉरिस वो लीड खा गया वापस.
But see,
And
this is the problem, right? I mean, these two are pulling, like, you don't have a clear favorite. You're not seeing one guy clearly pull away from the other.
right.
And so then again, we are back to that discussion we had a few podcasts back that, who does McLaren back at this stage?
Hmm.
Because you have two guys, I mean, you have two races with one guy in ascendancy, and then you have
Right.
the second guy coming back.
Right.
While Red Bull, you have Max, who's the out and out leader, and you can, focus all your resources and your backing towards one driver.
Right.
Yeah.
As much as I've bashed Lando, I'm just like just two races. He's been good. He's kept his car on the black stuff. He's been consistently better than Oscar for these past two races, and he has closed the gap right up. Now, if you have suddenly a Max Verstappen winning in Spain, you're seeing like the three title contenders all back to all beside each other, separated by what 7 8 points.
Staying on this subject, because we're heading into Spain, I vaguely remember that there was something about a technical directive that will come
Yes.
up in
Yes.
Spain.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Is
It's
that
about the
Yes.
Spain
flexibility.
or is it later?
I think it's
Spain.
Spain. It's Spain.
Spain. Spain.
Hmm.
I vividly remember because I've heard Christian Horner go every weekend on post race interviews. Spain, you have to see McLaren. Spain, you have to see McLaren. So Spain, we will see McLarens.
Before we move on to Spain, we have the results for this weekend on Gridmaster. And I could see the looks of
So
your faces where every one of you feel you have screwed up in some extent because the race itself was very screwed up. So, and obviously we have to collectively decide whoever loses, उसको क्या dare देना है. Collectively हमको decide करना है. Ananya is not happy about it. Ankush is not happy about it.
Ever since you've taken Franco's name, I'm trying to keep a shut mouth.
that is a good time to sort of. I'll also quickly tell whoever's going to watch it, whenever they're going to watch it, why are we doing this? Because four of us, obviously, we're missing Ravi today, who had a couple of very important professional commitments to take care of. But what we usually do is four of us compete in a private league, the podcast league, for before every race, and we make it our fantasy teams on Gridmaster. And what we're competing for is the OG Qatar Grand Prix Experience package, which roughly costs around 75,000 rupees. And what we do is the losers of every weekend, like the users who sort of come P3 and P4 amongst the four of us, have to put in a certain amount of money. Uh, Collectively, it's 3750 rupees for race weekend. They have to contribute that money to the pot out of their pocket. And sort of whoever wins the race, we do this from Australia to Brazil, which is 20 races. We collect 75,000 and we play this one more time for Vegas. Whoever wins in Vegas is going to Qatar to watch my guy Lance Stroll decimate Fernando Alonso again. It's still 14-0. I'm just reminding you all again and again because how many times can you say that in a lifetime? That Lance Stroll is boinking Fernando Alonso. Okay, see, this is where it gets weird because P1 is me.
Hey.
P1 is me. All of us stood up to an extent because none of us breached the 200-point mark.
Yeah.
So all of us stood up to an extent, but I scored 190.671 points. And my team was called Stroll Ford. उसने 40 दिया almost कल. And my team was Isaac Hadjar, Max Verstappen, and Williams. But I did 190 as my total team. Ankush, by there's like a 27 point gap because Ankush is P2, by the way. So Ananya and Omkar, you guys are paying. So Omkar, bhai, you are back to poison buying.
Clearly.
But would you be also down to sort of us giving you a dare? Are you the last? We'll find out. But Ankush did a very interesting. और उसका नाम भी टीम का वही है. Monaco में full risk लो. And his team
Clearly.
was his team was Verstappen, Hülkenberg, and Ferrari.
Wow.
Next
Both
level, Ankush. Holy
risk.
Exactly.
shit.
Full
The
risk.
Ferrari powered guys. So
Full risk.
two daddy drivers and Ferrari. Wow.
Which honestly did just slightly pay off, huh? Because Ferrari scored more than Williams. But whatever he gained in Ferrari, he lost in Hülkenberg big time. So that was a big miss. But Kush,
and the prediction challenge of course saved me again.
yeah, you sort of are the king of the
Yeah.
predictions anyway. So you got it right. So P3. Duk, 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 duk. And that's कितना point का difference? Oh, that's a significant. That's like a 7 point का difference between P3 and P4. P3 is Miss Taronkar Mohi.
करने की नहीं है लेकिन डेयर ना करने की है.
Yeah, I saw Ananya's face light up and I said Miss. And I moved to Mr. I'm sorry, Ananya, but
I will just go kill myself. Bye bye.
and before that, you do the dare, please. But I think it's the same team. It's
Yeah,
definitely the same team. Omkar's team was called Monaco Biscuit.
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 Biscuit. Lotus Biscuit.
Hmm.
It's like that. It was very interesting. Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, and Williams. Same as Ananya, Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, and Williams. But the difference was, and I tell you why he probably lost. I think I know why he lost. I think Omkar Bhai scored 16.5 in predictions, Ananya scored 9.2. And it was because you pulled out a Stroll, you pulled out a me where you swapped the answers.
No way.
Oh,
Yeah.
turbo.
Oh my god, no.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, turbo driver.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
you pulled out a proper Ferrari Stroll. Huh? And Ananya's team was called Snooze on Sunday, which was kind of right as well.
It's true.
We did sort of a
That's
snooze.
right.
I at least got that right.
Snooze on Sunday, but dare on Monday.
Hey, hello.
See, what dare do we give? I had a very interesting dare, but I'm not sure if that would happen. Ananya would agree.
And what was that?
Ananya, have you seen that trend which is happening? The blue shirt guy doing the ballroom dance.
No.
You're not. I want to show it on record.
Blue shirt guy
Doing a
doing.
ballroom dance. I want to
To
show
be
it
fair,
on
it's
record.
not me. It's not me.
Huh.
No, no, it's not. I want to show it. And it was so graceful, that guy. So
And
freaking
Ananya has a
graceful.
guitar in the background as well, so probably she
Anna,
can.
do you play guitar?
No, I don't.
पहले तो सिर्फ पैसे ही देने थे, and that too अगर
अभी तो
people
therapy
I
भी
know
करना
that.
है.
Yeah.
See,
There's
and
too
people
much that
people
I've signed
people
up for.
it's one of the most interesting songs as well. It's one of the OG songs back in the day, and then sort of
बेचा है
slowed
क्या?
it. No,
You
I
sent
sent it
it?
on the group. It is on the group, but I'll show you live as well. You see him? Oh.
I cannot do that.
So I tried doing that yesterday. I tried doing that yesterday in front of a mirror, just in case I lose, because I was going to give this day to anyone who loses. And if supposedly that was me, I was like, I just have to practice it just in case. It's not that easy to nail it. It's just easy to nail it gracefully. It's hard to nail it gracefully. It's not hard to nail
Sid.
it.
Have you seen that guy dancing? He's not losing money in the pot for Gridmaster. We
Arey
are.
Thank
yaar.
you. Omi. Thank you.
I have two things. We'll figure if DM is better or Instagram, but or email. But you have to do one thing. You have to type an email out to Ferrari
Oh my god.
and
Ah,
ask them to behave like a fucking racing team again. And win back your trust so that you become a Ferrari fan again.
Serious?
That is
I
doable,
feel
no?
like the guy in the blue, this thing is probably an idiot.
Yeah, but no, Ankush, Tunkar, what do you think? Which is better?
no, I think the email is a better one.
Neither
It's a
is
more
the
doable
better
one.
one because she can come across as somebody who's a
So see, either emails or
हाँ,
DMs. No, DM नहीं करते.
no,
DM बहुत चिल्ली होता है.
email email
Mm.
email.
email is good.
एक email से पूरा स्पाइरेट पकड़ा गया था. अब एक email से वापस हेयर पिन की और ये पूरे पॉडकास्ट की किस्मत भी खुल सकती है. In a
Ananya,
good way or a bad way, I don't know, but in some
just
way.
fire a dart in the dark. Just fire a dart in the dark, saying that while watching the race, I saw something that was illegal on that McLaren. It was it was a side pod. Please observe it in
Oh.
Catalonia.
No, but I said that the email should not be that. That can be a like नीचे लिखा हुआ sentence कहीं पे, but it has to be something which you sort of write, and it has to criticize Ferrari. Like act like a racing team.
One of the journalists that I talked to, I'm sure all of you might know Abhishek Takle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, of course.
And special
Yeah,
mention to
yeah.
Abhishek because he's one of the nicest guys out there and is always on the lookout for people, right? He
Yeah.
told me just be very, very careful what goes up online,
Mm,
especially if you want to work in F1.
mm.
Ah,
So be
interesting.
very, very careful.
Oh,
So
thank you
I
for
will.
telling that. I was planning some rant for coming races, but I'll hold my horses
अरे
now.
you should यार.
Or
You
my
should.
Red Bull now.
अरे बात रैंट करोगे तो एफआई में नौकरी मिल जाएगी. एफ1 में नहीं मिलेगी. एफआई
Thank
में
God
तो
I've
मिल
got a
जाएगी.
nokri. I can voice my opinion bindas.
मुझे नौकरी चाहिए तो मुझे फ्लाईवे के साथ ही नौकरी चाहिए. वो भी रैंट
No,
करता
but
है, मैं
still,
भी रैंट करता हूँ.
even as a guest, you have to be very careful because you can get banned from for life from paddocks and all
As
that
a
sort of.
guest,
Is it?
Yeah. So this is this was an interesting incident. In 2019, when I was at the Belgian Grand Prix, my first ever motorhome experience with Alfa Romeo,
Mhm.
and uh, and then I did the Suzuka 2019 that you were mentioning, and that was the last race before COVID hit for me. So in 2019, I remember this was on the Saturday or the Friday. I think it was a Friday after a practice session, and so we were all sitting in. So I was actually Giovinazzi's guest, so I was sitting on Giovinazzi's table, and right next to us was Kimi's table, and you had Kimi's father-in-law. His friend who actually runs Antti Pironen, who is actually the team principal for his motocross team,
Hmm.
and then there was another friend of his. And so suddenly we see Kimi barge in, and I mean, as straight faced Kimi is, for me, I could sense that something was wrong. He was like livid. His face was like full red, ekdam lal ho gaya tha, gusse mein. And you had Mark Arnell, his performance coach, walking right behind him, and he just stormed into his cubicle. So मुझे कुछ मतलब I felt something happened. And then right then, about 2 minutes later, my friend Jane Bleach from the UK, who I was talking about in one of our podcasts that she's been a fan for the past 40 years,
Yes.
and now she supports Callum Ilott in IndyCar.
Yeah, I remember.
So she sent me a photo of this, basically Kimmy having a face off. You must have seen that photo where Kimmy shouting into this guy's face and this guy is shouting back. It is.
This guy is who?
So this guy was actually. It turned out to be a paddock guest, a guest of Red Bull,
Oh
from the
shit.
Max Verstappen team
Oh,
of guests.
obviously.
Okay.
Now, this is what is interesting. So Spa has a two-level paddock. So you have the first level paddock, which basically houses your garages and your engineering centers, and then you have the lower house, which has your hospitality motorhomes. So Kimi had come out of the engineering center. He was on the call talking to someone, and this guy came running behind him. And while Kimi was talking, he's like, "Oh, Kimi, photo," and probably he was Dutch. I No nationality is mentioned, so but I'm assuming he was Dutch, and. He tried to thrust his phone in, and then Kimmy was like, "Hey, back off," or something like that. And then this guy like, "What the heck? What is your problem? Why can't you just take?" And then so both of them are now shouting back at each other and became a mess. So my friend actually he captured that moment, and then next day in the morning, nothing happened that day after. After that incident, everything was okay. In fact, I got a selfie with Kimmy at the end of the session when he was going home also. And
Hey.
that is actually one of my very interesting, because he actually stopped. He got me, and then his father-in-law was actually telling me how he ended up meeting Mintu. So
Oh,
that was,
sweet.
yeah.
Oh,
So that in itself is a very interesting story, because you laugh it off. But anyways, next day in the morning, um, there is a lot of there's a lot of action happening outside the motorhome. So we are sitting inside the motorhome. Then I walk out and I'm like, what's happened here? And I can't remember his name, but he's been with Alfa Romeo for the past 35 40 years or something. He's a very old gentleman who is a part of the team. I can't remember his name. So he was like, this is how,
Zeet Bender or something.
no, 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 not Jeep
Beat
Bender.
Beat Zender.
No,
Sorry.
not Beat Zender, yeah. Yeah, not
Sorry.
Beat Zender, but but there's another guy. And he was like, yeah, this is what should happen, if you disrespect drivers. So what happened was, this guy, when he came through the turnstiles in the paddock, cam security, that's basically the security responsible for the paddock and the paddock club, throughout every race weekend, they came running. They caught hold of the guy and they said, you're not allowed in the paddock, you're being thrown out. And he was actually banned for life for for
Spa.
harassing me, yeah, at Spa. And not just Spa, this is
Oh,
any track.
everyone. Shahrukh Khan
Yeah, yeah,
style.
yeah. So and then you had Red Bull guys also come in and all, and yeah, so they had to like apologize or whatever, and that was it.
Jesus.
So and yeah, and this photo, she posted it on some couple of other F1 groups, and somebody made it viral, and it came out in the papers and all, without proper credits, and that kind of,
Oh,
like, yeah,
shame.
I told her, I mean, you should have just
Shame.
ensured you had a watermark or something on
Watermark.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There was
then
actually there was actually an incident where Mr. Lawrence lost his head over
Lance.
no, Mr.
Yeah,
Lawrence,
Daddy.
Yeah,
Daddy
Daddy.
Daddy
Stroll.
Lawrence. Ah, okay,
This
okay.
was this was in again in 2019. This was Montreal. So I was
oh,
looking
great.
down to the paddock, and there were these two girls, again paddock guests of Aston Martin, who were standing, basically. So you had Daniel Ricciardo walking through, and they were actually greeting Daniel and congratulating him and telling him how good he is, blah blah blah. Lawrence was watching all this. The moment they turned into the Aston paddock, he let rip. He literally shouted. And I mean, the Aston paddock was like there. So Daniel Ricciardo was just passing through right in front of them, and these girls are greeting him, talking to him, and everything. And then suddenly he's like, if you all are such big fans of Daniel, why don't you go to the McLaren hospitality? Why are you guys here? Like, I,
Oh,
I mean, I was shocked. I like, bhai, panga nahi lena.
Yes.
Panga nahi lena.
rich people
Just
insecurities. I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think
happens
he
to happen.
loves a lot of people apart from his son, which is the wrong
And you,
person
of
he
course, because
loves.
you're a fan. So,
Yeah.
I तो पता नहीं यार. By now he should sponsor my trip to UK and sort of give me an Aston Martin. Then I'll drive in Bombay traffic at 30 kph.
or probably give you a drive in that Valkyrie in WEC next year.
Just gift me that Valkyrie. I can't drive it in Bombay. I'll bottom it out in the first pothole that I find, which is going to be 10 meters from my office. but,
Next
but
time, if
I
you lose, you have a dare of writing an email to Lawrence then.
oh I would love it.
And he'll anyway do it.
I would love it. I'd be like
He has nothing
find
to lose at this point.
find
Just
me a
want to play
person
with
on
his
this
whole
earth
time.
who find me a person on this earth who loves your son the way I do. Find me a person.
Exactly.
I dare you. I will give him a dare. I dare you. तू ढूंढ के तो दिखा.
I think RPM guy comes pretty close, Sid, don't you think?
Yeah, he does.
I think if honestly I could write to RPM, let's collaborate and make Stroll content. Would be fun.
True. One of a kind.
We'll both boink Stroll
You
together.
guys start doing it and then he starts performing, man. You're giving him the reverse jinx.
He's been performing since the start of the year. I don't know what has happened.
But you're comparing the Lance Stroll
To
to
Fernando Alonso.
Fernando Alonso.
My bad. Just a normal two-time world champion.
Man should have retired like 7 years ago.
So you mean he'll never come back from the sabbatical?
Yeah, pretty much.
But then
Just
you
be
would not
retired.
then you would not have had Hungary 21 now.
What the hell happened in Hungary 21?
The way he held up Hamilton, that was very, which led to Ocon win.
I just know Seb got disqualified. I don't know the rest.
Predictions for Spain. First up, who do you think is on pole?
Oscar.
You both said Oscar.
Even I was going to say Oscar.
Shit, all
But
three of you
for the
Oscar.
plot to thicken.
Yeah,
For the plot to thicken.
यार बात होता है ऐसा.
कुछ तो अलग करना पड़ेगा ना बहुत.
Fair,
ये
fair,
तो
fair,
मतलब
fair, fair, fair. बताओ.
मैं you give your answer.
Hey, अरे boy,
Ankush, Ankush, I feel like we say all of this, but we won't put Oscar.
Because it's too expensive. Again, let's come back to
You know
the.
what? I'm going to do this thing where whatever predictions you guys give, I'm going to pick that player or that driver because he's going to do well.
And then that means you have a budget of 120 million. We are all noting this.
I'll note it. We'll just you'll find us. You'll find a catch. I'm pretty sure you'll find a way to work it out. But
It's rare for me to say this, but I think Spain pole George Russell.
Hey, I was going to say George Russell, yaar.
अब दूसरा ले लो.
Okay.
I actually had a crazy thought. I mean, as Mercedes came together in 2016, both of them, Nico and Lewis.
Slightly 23 as well.
Yeah, and how cool would it be to see two McLarens, Oscar and Lando, coming together in the same corner? And that starts a rivalry for this championship. Am I a script writer or am I not?
You are Jaisha.
The Formula One, Jesha. You're basically Flavio Briatore.
Yeah,
It's about crashing into each other or crashing into a wall to aid your drivers.
Joy Eccleston. Okay, so
So
if you
Sid
say
would-
George,
yeah.
now I need the plot to thicken. कौन बचा है? Lando मुझे बोलना नहीं है. But we could
Go for
actually,
it, Ferrari.
we could actually. I was gonna say that, but I was gonna say as much as I want to say Lando Norris but I do not as well because I kind of don't want him in pole. I am going to say my guy again, Charles Leclerc.
Oh, shit.
Charles.
Sorry.
I thought Stroll.
So I mean,
Yeah,
he's
same.
the best of them all. But
The backup girlfriend.
the backup, the side chick as they call it these days. But Charles Leclerc for me on pole, big time.
You know, I was reminded of 2017 Monaco yesterday when I was watching that race. Kimi put it on pole. Seb was P2.
Yes,
And
they did
Oh,
the
yeah.
undercut.
They didn't do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That face Kimi had on that podium, my God,
Yeah.
I was being reminded of
Yeah.
that throughout that race. Pray.
He had a pretty spicy, or I remember it. But I honestly, यार अंकुश भाई ने इतना पॉट ये बोला है ना on the same topic of publicly defaming. अंकुश भाई ने इतना बोला है about before I wrap up the thing about paddock guest being holding a certain decorum to sort of not being kicked out. I so want to go to the Ferrari paddock and say, this car is a pig. This car is shit. It's like a pig. Yeah.
This is something that happens kabhi kabhi. I mean, I'm probably not with the newer stuff. It was a trend with the earlier ones, wherein if you gave negative feedback about their paddock club experience, they used to be like, "Oh, but we are Ferrari." That used to be the reply. They're like, "Well, we did not enjoy
That's
this." That was the answer. They were
Go
guys who were
Ferrari.
like, "Yeah, no, but we are Ferrari, so you should be happy you're a guest of Ferrari." So.
I mean, see, they are getting paid 40 million. I'm not sure if it's 40 or 70 for doing just.
No,
being
but this
on the
was
grid.
this is of something I'm talking of pre-Hamilton probably even pre-Seb. Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about, the Alonso Massa era, the Alonso
But no,
like.
even then,
Hmm.
if you're a team that takes the royalty of 40 million or 70 million just for being on the grid because you've been for the past 75 years, you expect the ego. But मेरा response तो वही रहेगा मैं अभी. Thank you all for joining. This was fun. It's going to be even more fun when it comes out tomorrow. But
Yes.
I'll keep you all posted. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all for posting.